love when we're moving through the different seasons and there's new fresh produce that we get to choose. So we are going to be talking about all things stone fruit today. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross and this is the Cross Legacy, where I teach you how to save money on groceries by reducing your food waste, which will help you be able to have these beautiful kinds of produce items in your home at all times and not have to worry about them going bad. So we'll just go through some of these stone fruit items that I have here. We have some fresh cherries. This is peak cherry season right now, and I love that we can get them locally. So these are actually called strawberry cherries, which I was really excited to try a new type of strawberry. And this is on my July produce haul video if you'd like to see all of the items that I got at the produce stand that day. We also have some yellow peaches and some white nectarines here in this bowl that I got at the produce stand. And then we have some mangoes and some plums and some apricots. So all of these produce items are all called stone fruits because they have a stone inside of them. So when we are storing these away after we wash them, we'll talk about washing instructions in a second, but oftentimes I will keep them in a glass bowl like this in the refrigerator, and I will keep them on the shelf away from other produce items. So they can all be stored near each other. Just keep them away from things like citrus. Normally in my crisper drawers, I keep one drawer that's specifically for vegetables. So right now I have things like corn on the cob in my crisper drawer with some carrots and cucumbers. And then in my other crisper drawer, I keep that one specifically for citrus and avocados, which are produce buddies, and they will keep each other fresh longer. But these items need to be stored separately away from either of those other categories, but they're okay being stored near each other. So you can put mangoes and peaches together, or any of these kinds of stone fruits can be together. I do have one random apple in my refrigerator right now. Now it's the middle of summertime and you have to remember that apples are only picked in the fall. So that apple is getting on 9-10 months old right now from when it was picked, even though I got it recently. But that I want to make sure that I kind of keep in a different area of the refrigerator also. So wherever I'm moving things around in the refrigerator, I'm keeping that citrus away from the apple and then keeping the stone fruit all together. So the cherries I actually store in a jar. Normally I'll store them in a half-gallon or a gallon size jar if I have a larger quantity. I just had a few of these, so I put them in quart jars, and we're getting ready to move. So I've packed away a lot of my extra jars and just trying to use the things that I still have on hand. But these cherries, after I washed them, I did put them in this jar. They've been in here for over a week now and they're still perfect in here. You want to make sure when you're washing cherries, just like when you're washing grapes, that you want to keep the stems on as much as possible. So once those stems come off of the cherries, they start to get a little bit of air inside of them, but it also triggers the cherry to start deteriorating. So if you have any that already have the stems that came off of them, you want to eat those first. And it's the same thing for grapes. If you're taking grapes off of the stem, they're not going to last as long as the grapes that are on the stem. So all the ones that still have the stem, I made sure that I put in the jar that I put furthest back in the refrigerator, and the ones that had the stems that were removed, we ate those first. So all of these items I do wash with the Vinegar Wash. I laugh that I've been using the same bottle for years and I just refill it all of the time, but I like the fact that it has produce on it. So don't come after me about a brand. Use whatever brand you want to. I like that there's produce on this label, and that's why I keep refilling the same bottle. I always use 5% distilled white vinegar when I'm washing my produce, which will help kill off the mold spores, 𝐂𝐻𝐿𝐼, listeria, and any other harmful pathogens on your produce items, and it can remove some of the pesticides on the outside of your produce. But remember that pesticides get into the groundwater and grown into the plant. So there is no way to safely remove all pesticides out of your produce. So even though it might help remove some on the outside, there's still some that are grown into your plant. I do say about 80% of everything that I buy, I try to get organic as much as possible. And even if it is organic, I am still washing it to make sure that I'm cleaning off any of the harmful things that might be on it. So for washing these items, we're going to use a 1/4 cup of distilled white vinegar, and we're going to add that to a bowl of 10 cups of water. And then we are going to set a timer for 2 minutes. And it's really important that you only let your produce soak for 2 minutes. It doesn't need to be in the water any longer than that, and it can actually start making it deteriorate quicker if you let it soak too long. And after it's soaked, you can lay it out on a towel to dry until it is bone dry before putting it away in the refrigerator. I always make sure to make the stem side go down on the towel, and that way there's not water collecting in that little stem area. These are one of the items that I don't necessarily normally rinse off after the vinegar wash. I will always wash off berries because you can see how dirty the water is and all of the dirt and debris that gets lifted up into the bowl. So you can use your judgment whether or not you want to rinse off after soaking, but normally I don't. I just take it directly from the vinegar wash onto the towel. And it really depends on how warm your house is, especially in the summertime, how long it is going to take for your produce to dry. So in the wintertime, normally it takes around 2 to 3 hours for things to dry in our house. And I noticed when we were doing our large produce washing haul last weekend that it only took about 45 minutes for most of the produce to dry in our house because it was so warm in here that day. So when you're laying everything out, make sure that you're also going by every half an hour or so and kind of checking on it as it's drying, and that way you can get it put away when it's still at its peak freshness. We are going to make some salads with these peaches and nectarines that will also go up on the video. I'm not sure which order they're going to go, but it is a lemon, honey, basil vinaigrette dressing that's going to go on the salad, which is really delicious. And we like using peaches and nectarines as 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐄𝐓 salads instead of tomatoes. Mike isn't a huge tomato fan, but we love doing it this way. So that is another way that we use peaches and nectarines. And we love them grilled, which is fun to use in the summertime. But I love being able to get, peaches are a great produce item to be able to freeze and use all year long. And we also have a canning video here on the channel if you're interested in learning how to can peaches. This is our zero waste produce guide, which goes through 75 produce items A to Z and how to keep them fresh for weeks. So you can always get all of the little reminders of what needs to be stored near each other or away from each other, what's produce buddies, what are great items to freeze. All of the tips are in this book. Plus, there's over 40 recipes and meal ideas in the book. So make sure that you're checking this out. So along with the book, we also have our grocery and meal planners. There are 5 different covers on it, and I thought it was very appropriate to show the peach planner today. But this planner is really great for not only planning out your meals and the ingredients that you have in your home, but keeping on hand so you can look back and see the previous season what you were eating. So I love being able to keep track of the items that we were having for meals like last summer, and being able to flip through our old planners and to be able to pull ideas from things that I already know that my family loves. These 2 items are linked in the description, and if you're watching this video, it's on a bundle and there's also a discount code. So make sure that you enter that discount code in when you're purchasing these. And if you're brand new to the channel, I post all of our grocery hauls, and every 2 weeks, I post all of the meals that we are having using all this different seasonal produce, so you can get ideas on how to stick with your budget and keep a rotation of different meals for your family so you never get bored. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. I check into the comments a couple times a day and try to keep all of the questions answered.